In this video, I am going to be showing you how I do terraforming in Terraria, and honestly, it's really not too difficult. I'll be going step by step through how to build this, through both the basics and the more advanced techniques, and I will also be doing a little bonus for how to do vegetation. Hello everyone, and I'm going to be doing some terraforming today. I'm going to be making it pretty simple and also explaining how I'm doing it, and I'm going to be doing this mainly in the jungle, but you can use these principles for any part of your world. Alright, let's get to it. So for this part of the video, I'm just going to be time-lapsing through me clearing out the area, and this will give you a rough idea of how you want to mainly do the first shape before you start actually adding the main blocks. I'm just whizzing through this, getting rid of all of the other blocks, the walls, and I'm also going to get rid of this water here flowing, and I'll add something similar to this back later once I've also decided what I would like to do with it. Alright, I think I'm now ready to start doing this. So I'm going to build out just a small ramp going slightly down, and I'm going to just sort of round this out a little bit, get rid of some of these blocks over here, and then I'm going to add some more in here just to build the main shape. I'm using mud because I'm in the jungle, but you can use dirt, you can use stone, whatever you'd like. So I'm just going to start by rounding this out a little bit just to give it a bit more of a natural shape and less blocky. And now I'm going to go in with some mudstone bricks because I'm in the jungle, but if you weren't in the jungle, you could just go in with some stone painted brown just to mix it in a little bit. I'm just going to randomly place this all around until I find something which I like, and there we go. Now I'm just going to start by going in with some stone and feathering it out a little bit. Unfortunately, mudstone and regular stone don't really mix very well, so there is a bit of a harsh border, but you can mitigate this just by kind of dithering it out. I'm just going to place this all around, and then I'm going to go in with some grey painted ebonstone brick, some grey painted crimstone brick, and also some white painted mudstone brick. Now, these two, the evil blocks, when they're in their brick form, they don't actually spread, so it can be really handy to add texture. After rewatching this back, I can see that I should have added some moss to the stone. I really think that would have helped show this kind of damp, mucky environment a bit better, while still creating a nice looking build. But apart from that, I'm just adding more stone. Alright, and there we go. Now I'm going to be using two types of stone walls, craggy stone and worn stone walls painted white. And you can make these in the graveyard using, I believe it is just a regular crafting bench. But yeah, once I've got these painted white, I'm going to start placing them around. And then I'm also going to go in and start placing the actual main structure of the background. Another little bonus tip is you can use the craggy stone walls to help smooth out the transition. So with worn stone wall, it's quite sharp, whereas the craggy stone wall kind of curves a little bit. So you can use it to build a better transition. Now I'm just going to add in some jungle grass seeds just to give, well, a little bit of life to this mud so that it doesn't just look dark. Alright, now that I've placed in the grass, I'm going to be using some living leaf wool, some vine rope, and also just some living leaf blocks. And for that I'm going to be using the mahogany living leaf blocks, and all of these are going to be painted lime. Then I'm going to hammer these to make them look a little bit more natural, and I'm also going to use some streamers because they can sort of dangle across, and they are actually thinner than regular vine rope. They are a bit brighter as well, but it also does help add to the overall aesthetic. Now during this part, I am simply just adding some more of those hanging vines and some of those leaves. So what I'm going to be doing for this is the same process as before, but also just adding them and mixing them around just to create a bit more variation and give it a bit of a nicer feel. Then after that, I'm going to be experimenting around trying to create sort of flowers that are hanging from those vines. And I've just created some flowers which I think are really quite nice, and it is simply just some pink painted vine rope, some living leaf wool with some echo blocks on either side. So no, not echo blocks, echo walls, and then some regular living leaf block on top of that, and that kind of creates the impression of a hanging vine. Then I'm just going to place around a few of these painted ones just to kind of make them look like they're little leaves that are dangling down. Now I'm going to start on building the support structure. Now this is completely optional, but I also think this really looks nice, especially for the design that I am doing, because I'm going to be building a bridge next to this. This will help add to the sort of story of the build. Obviously story isn't really needed in builds, but I kind of like to build around that idea. For this part of the build, I'm just experimenting around, seeing what I like for this sort of build, and I've gone with just a simple, not really archway, not really just singular beam, a sort of curved out, and I'm going to be using some honey platforms and some shelf platforms. Alright, I've had a little bit of an idea here, and I want to see if it works. I want to use a table as a sort of base of the pillar, and I think that looks quite nice. I'm going to hammer those down, and it kind of creates the impression of a arched pillar coming from the bottom. Now for the rest of this part, I'm just going to be experimenting around, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't, and for me, I found that in the end, just keeping it as simple as I could think really worked out well, but also using some more unconventional items that you wouldn't think of, such as the table and the platforms, really helped me to build out the shape that I wanted to. I'm just going to add in a little bit more vegetation, and there you go. There we go. I think that looks lovely. I really hope you enjoyed, and if you did, make sure to comment down below what you'd like me to build next. I have really enjoyed doing these building videos, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!